Hey, welcome to From a Certain Point of View. The Star Wars podcast is here to cradle your shattered soul after witnessing the events in Andor Season 2, Episodes 7 through 9. If you tuned in hoping for lightsabers and levity, surprise, you've landed in a galaxy where hope is rationed, joy is contraband, and the Empire's favorite pastime is crushing your goddamn spirits. This week we're diving into the Ghorman Massacre, a scene so harrowing it makes Tarkin's last trip seem like a minor zoning violation. Mon Mothma finally delivers the kind of sentence speech that makes you wonder if galactic democracy died of natural causes or just sheer apathy. No mic drop, just the sound of 1,000 senators shifting uncomfortably in their "I continue to stand for genocide" designer robes. And Syril Karn? Let's just say his arc concludes with the kind of emotional devastation that makes me question my own importance in this grand tapestry of a thing we call life. So grab your emotional support droid, pour yourself a stiff drink of Blue Bantha bourbon, and join us as we unpack the episodes that redefine the dark side. Because in this corner of the galaxy, the only thing more oppressive than the Empire is the weight of our own damn feelings. I'm Jason, the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Poo Studios. Not alone, of course, because Darth Mathias is with us, him and all 9 fingers. Welcome to the show, sir.
I know. I feel like it's not quite like losing a limb like in Star Wars, but yes, I messed my finger up last night, and I'm going to fight through it because we got to bring this episode to people, but it's been a bit of a challenge. I did want to switch, though, to talk about FACPA stories real quick.
Yeah.
So we were able to churn that out. Once again, we save it for late.
Yep. It was a mad rush to the finish line.
Yes. And so trying to pull it together late was a little challenging. We're going to try to do a better job in the fall when we do our next volume, but great writing by you. And also really wanted to give a shout out to Alberto from Radio Rebellion for his contribution. That was great.
Yes.
And also thanks to Dan for his voice work.
I fucking love what he does with those, man. Cracks me up. And it was fun this time because I didn't hear it. So listen, after you put it together, you launched it that morning. And so I was driving to work. So I pressed play to listen to that one because I hadn't heard any of it, you know? And I was laughing at it.
It was funny because I joked with you about, what did I call him? 20 Take Dan?
Yeah, 20 Take Dan, yeah.
So it would be like if the line was, hello, Master Jabba or whatever. It would be like, hello, Master Jabba. Hello, Master Jabba. Hello, Master. You just keep doing it. And I'm like,
yep. That's took me forever to do it that one time. Yeah. Did a good job, though. You put it all together good.
It was great. It worked out great in the end. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
I mean, we wouldn't know if our listeners have enjoyed it. They have said nothing. At this point, I do this just for your entertainment.
Well, it's one of those things where I think you have to love the stuff that you create and just hope that people enjoy it too. And don't worry about the results.
Yep.
Trust the process, Jay.
Exactly. Yeah.
From a certain point of skew.com is our website. You can find us on all the socials at FacpaPod. You can email facpapod@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail, 678-322-7277. I did want to give a quick shout out to the folks over at the Clashing Sabers Podcast who are doing their annual book drive to get Star Wars books into schools. Yep.
Okay.
So you can make a pledge that helps put more books into schools. And when you make that pledge, you get entered into a drawing for them to win a free book for yourself. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. Yes.
Oh, what you need to do is go to, and I'll put this in the show notes, go to go.rallyup.com/Readvenge of the Sith. That's a hard one. READ, Venge of the Sith. I think it's all through the month of May. So you have the whole month to do that. But yeah, I'll put the link in there. And as a bonus, for every $2 you donate, we'll give you an entry in our giveaway. So it's a win-win-win.
There we go.
Just send me like some sort of evidence. Send me a screenshot or something so I know what you did. Because otherwise I have to harass the guy and be like, can you send me the list? And then try to figure it out. So if you could send that to us, that would be great. Do it for the kids, man.
Yeah. Don't be a piece of Sith. You can throw 5 bones on this thing.
Good job. Keep going. More puns. Go.
I'm not giving everything away right now. We got a long show.
All right.
On the show today, speaking of which, is, Andor Season 2. So we got Episode 7, Messenger. 8, Who Are You?
Yeah.
And Episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion. That's it. All 3. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we didn't have a question of the week this week because I was kind of lazy, so we'll do one next time. And for news, there wasn't a lot. It was all centered around Andor. So just figured,
yeah, though I did send you the one thing, like what they say they've gotten like 300. Was it 300 million in subscriptions just because of the Andor show on Disney Plus?
Is that accurate? That is an enormous number.
I saw it hitting Twitter the other day. It is, but is it like, is that new signups or is that like that's what's continued because Andor's on, like no one dropped off? I'm not quite sure because the article because I remembered about it this morning, so I was like, well, maybe he'll throw that into the news. So I went looking for it, but I only found it on the Wrap, and the Wrap you have to have a subscription to read. So it was only the first couple paragraphs, or whatever, and then read more, sign up, but that was the article.
That's one of the few subscriptions you do not have.
Right, yeah. and then the other mention is I got a message this morning from Ua and his daughter, who doesn't listen anymore, he said, but wants us to cover Tales of the Underground. But he told her, well, if you're asking for it, then you probably should offer them some money. He's like, that's fair, right? He writes me. So I was like, oh, okay. So I got to respond to him yet.
Offer us money.
But yeah, we're gonna cover that, but we decided to cover that after next week's episode, right?
Right. So what we'll do is we'll do 7 to 9 today, and then next week we'll do 10 to 12, and then we'll do the kind of giveaway episode where we do our giveaway, and then we'll also cover Tales of the Underworld. It just made more sense to do it, give it its own little episode rather than try to jam it in with another Andor stuff, since there's so much to cover there. All right, well, let's get into Andor then. This show, man, it just keeps getting better and better.
I didn't expect it to be so lighthearted.
A lot of emotions this week.
My God,
got me a couple times. I mean, the tension build is so well done. It just and I would say, when we get to it, I think episode 8 might be the best episode of the whole series.
Dude, if this show, like I know it got ignored last time for like the Emmys and the Golden Globes and stuff, and it's like science fiction or whatever, but like this is such a well-produced, well-written, like it needs all the respect.
I mean, I think
it deserves it.
Writing, some of the actors, some of the costume design, like set design, all that stuff needs to be recognized for what they've done, because they've really done an amazing
Absolutely.
job. Right off the bat, and we'll get into the episode here in a second, but I loved getting a lot more of Yavin. You really get and I think he said that, Gilroy, going into the season, didn't he? He said something about how we're really going to like show you a lot more of Yavin.
Well, I was thinking about this remember when they first announced this show and they showed like it was like a 3-minute trailer, and it was all behind the scenes stuff, and it was production art and all those stills. Like there was a bunch of stuff of Yavin and stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm like, all of that stuff we saw before season 1 ever came out, and we never thought, oh. So, this is how far in advance they even had this plan.
Well, like he said, Gilroy, what did he say? He's been working on this show for 10 years, or essentially Star Wars for 10 years now, with you could combine it with Rogue One. So, yeah, I very impressive. And just cool to see a little bit more of Yavin, like literally out in the jungle. Obviously, just the many parallels with history continue, and some in the modern day.
Wow.
I also like how Gilroy, he really has aligned his story to match up with previous canon, not in like a strenuous way. It just kind of, it kind of flows nicely, because like Mon's escape and all that's, well, and then Draven telling him that Gold Squadron was going to be the ones to take Mon. That's all part of Rebels. So they kind of, I just liked how they aligned all that kind of stuff. It was very well done.
Instead of like, this is my story and steamrolling any canon, he kind of weaved his story into it.
Well, yeah, it's like how he weaved the Ghorman Massacre into the Tarkin Massacre, so he could do the Ghorman Massacre a different way. And of course, some people were griping about how there's some comic that shows how Cassian and K2SO come together, and it's not in line with what we saw. But it's like, that's a pretty minor.
It was like I think it was like a 1-shot or 2-shot.
It was a 1-shot.
Just okay. So
let's not worry about that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so getting into the first episode, Messenger, we open on Yavin, and we see how the rebellion is settling in. So, by the time we get to A New Hope, they've been there for more than 2 years at that point. By the time we get there, Cassian and Bix have this nice little private pad out in the jungle, very intimate.
I know. Yeah, they got like a little hut.
Yeah, and he's nursing a bad shoulder. Apparently, he's took a blaster shot. Then Wilmon shows up. And he's looking way more like experienced now as a rebel soldier,
Some confidence in those boots he's walking in.
Well, he's also, he's picking up a girl in every port. Let's be real. Get to that in a minute.
Man, this dude's a ladies' man.
He is. He's fucking putting in work.
Fucking filthy sailor going from port to port.
Right. Cassian's a little testy with him. Cassian's looking very frustrated at this point.
Yeah.
Like he's very kind of bitter, and he certainly is kind of done with Luthen. It feels like he's just tired of his shit. So there also just appears to be a bit of a divide between Luthen's rebellion and the rebellion. Like Luthen's got his specific thing, and then there's the rest of the rebellion. And I'm guessing that's a lot has to do with because it's beyond Luthen's control, so he doesn't want to deal with anything that's kind of out of his hands. I think it's probably a control issue, don't you think?
I don't know. Maybe, probably to some extent, but also he's more in line of let's do the spying shit. We're ahead of the curve.
Right.
And but I do agree. I think Cassian's he's got what he wants now, right? He's got a pretty nice pad. He's part of the rebellion, but he's on the outskirts of it. He's not running fucking missions for Luthen, and he's got Binks, and he's living his dream.
Yeah.
Bad shoulder. He's getting old.
That's true. Exactly. I want to stay in. I don't want to go out this weekend.
I put in my 20 years.
Wilmon presents this mission to Cassian to go to Ghorman and take out Dedra. And he's like, it's not revenge.
She's just standing there waiting to die.
Yeah, right. Cassian's kind of acting uninterested, but, there's in the back of his mind, he's like, that would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
So later, Bix takes him to this force healer, I guess is what we're calling her, which was an interesting little scene. And he's not buying that mumbo jumbo. He's like, I don't trust this shit. I like how she goes, Marva went to one. He's like, once.
Right.
It's like therapy. Yeah. I went one time. It didn't work.
It didn't stick.
But this force healer can sense him over there, even while she's in the middle of doing something else. So she senses him there. She comes over, touches his shoulder, and apparently I guess it helps heal him to a point. But also, she gets almost like a force echo off of him or something. She gets some sort of sense of what he's been going through. And she senses that like all this work he's been doing. And that's what she's the one who calls him a messenger, saying he's gathering things as he goes and there's some place he needs to be.
Boy, she couldn't have worded that more perfect.
I like how at the end, like almost... Do you think that was just like a reprieve for Bix, where she's like, I don't know, maybe you're the place he needs to be, like don't fret. It's not going to be her. It's not going to be her.
Did you get a little bit of like, is she the same?
What do you mean?
Like the force healer, the way she was talking and the way that she was talking to Andor afterwards, Bix, she gave like this sort of like she was feeling something too.
She says almost like she was having dreams or visions about him being a messenger as well. So that could be one of those like, hey, the force flows through all of us. Maybe she has just a little inkling of it. I don't think it's anything deeper than that. Probably.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to start lifting houses. But
no. She comes back and confronts him at the home and kind of gets into that.
Is this when he's working the shoulder and he's like, oh, this is working really good? I'll never admit it, but...
yeah, it'd be kind of handy to have a force healer as your wife. So then later, Draven, who we know from Rogue One, he's the guy who ends up ordering the hit on Galen, Urso. He is giving Cassian the business. He is just like, you can't just come and go from Yavin, bro.
And he's like, I told you before, the first time you tell me that's what I can't do, I'm gone.
Yeah, right.
And then he's like, hey, fuel my ship up before I leave on the fucking, the soon-to-be Republic's dime, please.
Next time he lands, he's going to toss him the keys and be like, park that shit, would you?
Yep.
Well, I think Cassian's got the attitude of, I've been doing this shit for a while now, so like I don't have to adhere to all the dumb rules that you have. Then he heads out with Wilmon on the U-Wing.
Yep.
It was like, saw that, I was like, sweet, here we are.
Yeah, this is the ship he's flying in Rogue One, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have the Lego version of that, and I think the Kenner version of that. So pretty cool ship. Vel visits with Bix and tells her that she's in charge of like bringing up the new recruits. Getting them all settled in, which I think is a good job for her. She's pretty good at ordering people around.
Yeah, she is.
Although now when she's training these recruits, she's like, you need to fucking follow orders. Do you understand? Let me explain to you why. What happens when you don't.
Yeah.
My girlfriend dies. That's what happens.
Yeah. You're gonna listen to this story.
Right. Everyone
week.
has to hear it.
Yeah.
She's got posters of her up everywhere. And then a poster of Sam, just a picture of Sam on the dartboard. So she tells Bix, we need Cassian to be a leader in this rebellion. Like, it's got to happen. So, anything you can do to help would be kind of great.
Which is, I wasn't sure. Maybe it's because this conversation came in and she wasn't aware of what he's doing, but he just fucking left on a mission.
Right. But I think she's thinking like...
Because she says something about, he was up for a promotion, but he goes and pulls this stunt. Well, he was leaving to go do what they fucking want him to do.
But not what they want him to do. This is Luthen's
that's
mission.
true, because she's working for... You're right. I'm thinking she's still... But that's right, because she does say something about Luthen doesn't have the control on us that he used to or something.
Exactly.
That's correct, yeah.
So anyway, then we've switched over to Ghorman, and we see that essentially martial law has been taking effect by the Empire. Yep. And there's all these reports of insurgent activity, including a bombing at the naval yards.
It's so fucking crazy to see how well they show what propaganda can do.
Yes, I know. And it's throughout this entire arc. Yeah. I mean, it was in the last arc too. But the propaganda effort against Ghorman has just been this concentrated, endless, relentless effort. And I was going to say for Ro, friend of the show, Ro, bad news for him. They just got camera droids in the future, so your job is at jeopardy.
You're out of a job there, Scarif Scuttlebutt Ro.
And they've got like these new troops arriving every day, and they all look very young, very green.
Oh yeah.
Partagaz informs Dedra that they're gonna have to extract the core material from Ghorman, which is gonna destroy the planet. So we're going with plan number 1. Remember that?
Yeah. Which I feel like was always the plan.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It was. We're gonna just prepare for this. Probably not gonna happen, but and it's gonna happen. And he even actually mentions Krennic's lab on Edu, which is where Galen works.
Right.
One. He makes that mention. Then he also says how. Well, at one point he says something about how they're going to do like a forced resettlement. So were they planning to remove the inhabitants that were left over after they murdered a bunch of them? Because he did say something about that.
At least. At least that's better than leaving them there and just letting the planet fucking implode on itself or whatever it's going to do, Like the Empire just fucks off and they leave the citizens there. I don't know if they can control that.
Why do you set up that massacre and then you're going to turn around
because
and
they were able to make that look like that was them going against the Empire, right?
I guess so. So it's like, hey, all you fuckers that don't play by the rules.
Yeah.
This is what happens. The rest of you come with us.
I'm not quite sure they can come up with a way to be like, well, it was the spiders that ruined the planet, and we got off on time. We don't know why the Ghormans didn't leave.
So Dedra now has this guy, Captain Kaido. Boy, he's a real prick, isn't he?
Boy, yeah. I mean, that's an understatement.
And he's handling kind of the martial law and military security and all that. And then at some point, Syril comes in to confront Dedra because he's seeing what's going on, and he's asking her about the naval bombing. She's like, oh, it was outside agitators and all this stuff.
Which, I mean, she's not lying, but they're the outside agitators.
They're the outside agitators.
Yeah.
The rebellion, to a degree, are outside agitators too, but like you're really the outside agitators you're talking about.
Right.
So she tells him, like, basically, you need to get ready to get the fuck out of Dodge because stuff's going to go down here and I want to make sure you're safe. And he's like, what the hell does that mean? So then she also says, we'll be back in Coruscant together and we'll be rewarded. And then aggressively kisses him on the mouth.
Yeah. Like that kiss is always going to be like the thing to control him.
I guess.
He seems a little like, you know what, this is home now. And like, did you get the idea that maybe he was interested in the other woman?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have that in my notes. I was like,
okay.
when that conversation happens, I was like, oh, they're fucking. And then I realized later, oh, they're probably not fucking. He's just interested in her.
Right. So we miss like, let's go back and have that year of the show.
That should be its own spinoff too.
Mm-hmm.
Syril on Ghorman. To your gal Mon, she is sick of her driver, Cloris. But her man Erwin.
Understatement.
Or Eskin. Is it Eskin?
Yeah.
Erskine? Erskine. God damn it. I can't say it. Whatever. That guy.
Let's go with Eskin. I would.
He says this guy's basically dumb and harmless. Like we should keep him because he's not gonna, cause us any trouble. And then she has this meeting with Senator Oren from Ghorman, and he tells Mon,
Oren from Ghorman.
Ghorman. He says that the situation's pretty hopeless in Ghorman, and then we have this nice moment where he basically gives her this heartfelt thanks for all that she's doing,
right?
For his people. I imagine while he was saying those words to Mon, you were mouthing the lines along.
I was.
Thank you, Mon.
I love you. But I was like, don't you dare say it to her. But like, you can tell this woman has never had a thank you for the job she's done in her life.
No, certainly not from her family.
It was no. Also, where are they at? They're dead to her.
We'll get into that on what's next because I'm real interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, I want a whole episode, like one of those Star Wars, where they go somewhere else for a full episode, and it's just Perrin in his apartment packing shit, trying to get the fuck out of Dodge when he gets the call that, like, he's listening to it. He's like, oh, it's just a panic episode. He's setting up fucking detonators. He's like...
The end credits of the entire series is him, like, sitting on the toilet, taking a shit, reading the newspaper, and reading about her speech and going, oh, fuck.
She did what?
Back to Ghorman, real quick here. The Ghorman front is not going well. They're very torn. They're arguing with each other over a table, as they do. And it's really like Caro's still pushing the peace route because he sees what's going to happen if they try to fight back, like just playing into the Empire's hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas even Enza, his daughter, and all these other people are like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, we got to fight back. So I get, you get that angle that they have as well. And then leave it to Lazine, the guy who was all fucking pissed off, flipping everybody off last arc.
The Ghorman Butcher?
He's the voice of reason. He kind of comes in and he's like, hey, let's not lose track of who we are and what we're trying to do. We're all Ghor at the core. Ooh. Might be episode title.
Ghor at the core.
Yeah, so they're just kind of arguing with themselves about that. Later, Syril meets up with Enza. That's what you were talking about, and kind of informs her that, hey, the Empire's convinced that this Ghorman front is being driven by some outside agitators, of course. And then when he suggests, like, we can put this all on them, she slaps him and walks off.
Right.
Finally, we see Wilmon and Cassian fly into Ghorman on the U-Wing. Cassian's just, like, trying to make Wilmon sick, flying in, like, low and swinging around. When they finally get in, Wilmon gives Cassian the rundown on Dedra because, he's there to sniper from his hotel. And then he checks in and is given a good room by our old bellhop friend, whose name is Thala, by the way. Had to look that up.
Thala.
He's clearly on board with the cause now, and he's given a lot of wink winks to Cassian. And then Cassian gets set up in this room, and then I love how he realizes there's 2 stormtroopers directly above me. Shit. So that's not optimal. His comms are confirmed with Wilmon, and that's when we see that sneaky devil's got another girlfriend. He's got Drina that we saw as part of the Ghorman front in the last arc. So way to go, dude.
He's got goes in different area codes.
He does. And then it was interesting, the music choice at the end, credits, where it was that kind of that operatic type music. You hear it in that, and then the next episode as well. A little bit of a different spin there. So episode 8, which was fucking phenomenal. Such a fucking great episode. The music, the way it was building the tension, all those like weird horn sounds and stringed instrument sounds that were all like kind of setting it up. I thought it was really well done. So we open on Ghorman, and holy shit, is that Imperial Annex big?
Yeah. It's towering over everything. Fully built now.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Freedom Tower.
It's
enormous.
Right?
So Cassian relays to Wilmon that while everyone thinks the Empire is opening up the plaza, they're actually pulling the barricades back to fortify the Imperial building and kind of drawing them in. So he sees what's going on. When Dedra asks Partagaz what's up and why the mining equipment has already been in place, he's like, yeah, we don't really give a fuck about optics anymore. We've been pushing this Ghorman propaganda for 2 years. I think we're good. We just continue to get these, like I said before, these repeated clips of all these news agents on the ground spinning the Ghormans as terrorists and the Imperials as heroes and all that kind of stuff, this kind of smear campaign. So props to the Ministry of Enlightenment. They've really done a great job.
Right.
They deserve raises. Meanwhile, the front is preparing for battle. Molotov cocktails and weapons. Somebody even handed a weapon to that dumbass Sam. I'm like, is that a good idea?
Yeah. I thought the rule was no guns for Sam.
It should be. Let him drive the tank. That's it.
Right.
So they start marching to the plaza to take it back. And Rylands, our guy, Caro Rylands, the peaceful man, he's like, I see exactly what's happening here. And he drops an Akbar on his daughter. It's a trap. Yeah. And then he's, and rightly claiming, like, they're luring us in.
Yeah, he sees the whole picture.
Exactly. So then, so yeah, Rylands and Cassian are really the only two that see exactly what's happening here. Rylands accuses Syril because he runs into him. That was a great exchange of setting them up, just kind of getting right in his fucking face. And Syril at the end, just like, fuck you, throws him to the ground. Throwing old men to the ground.
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad. I don't know him, but you're not him. Wait, are you my dad?
Yeah.
Are you my dad? Be honest with me.
What do you know?
Level with me. Is Harlow your brother? So he's claiming, you were just trying to trap these outside agitators. Or no, excuse me. Syril's telling him, I'm trying to trap the outside agitators, but he's like, yeah, I don't think so.
Well, this guy has more information than Syril.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's been like inside this job the whole time. So this is what he's like, all right, what the fuck is going on?
Right. Yeah.
Also, again, the one guy or one of the many men in his life he's trying to please and he can't.
I know.
It's just like this poor fucker, man.
Well, and it ends
Just
tragically for him.
doomed. Yeah.
Then Rylands asks him, like, what's in the ground? I know this mining equipment's there. What are you trying to take from the planet? And he's, like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's all rumors. Mm-hmm. So then Cassian decides, okay, I need to check out. I got to get out of this fucking room. This is not going to work. So he goes and sees Thela to check out. Thela tells him, hey, man, don't worry. I didn't even log in. You're good. And then when Cass tells him he hopes everything works out for him, we get the line.
Yep. That's where it comes from.
Rebellions are built on hope, which is what he's going to pass on. Then Jin's going to say and on and on.
Yep.
Got a little spine tingle on that one. That was kind of cool to hear. Cassian walks outside and Syril walks right past him.
Yep. I know.
2 ships in the night.
Didn't even see him.
And then Syril heads over to the Imperial building, and oh boy, so first he gets inside and he sees, he's watching that bullshit news coverage. Everything's starting to come to his mind now. Like, okay, yeah. I think it's like that meme you see on Twitter and stuff where it's the guy in the Nazi out uniform that says, "Are we the baddies?"
I haven't seen that one.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, he's definitely starting to put this together that he's been played.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's seeing that, like, maybe I'm on the wrong side of things, or even that he can't believe that the side he has worked so hard for is doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's totally committed to whatever cause that he feels his life's cause, and so now he's starting to see the dark side of that. The
law and order, like, the right side of things, and he's wrong.
Yeah. So then he gets escorted into this room with a bunch of KX droids, which I think we saw that clip at one point in one of the trailers. Are we to assume that's K2 who stares at him?
Yeah. Also, like, I thought at first, I was like, why are these people in there? Is this like where the kill room begins?
Right. I think it was just all his coworkers, right? It was like all just getting them out of the way.
Yeah.
But they're all sitting in a room with these killer droids going, what is going on here? It was like, this is a very awkward setup. You're like, are we going to die? I don't understand what's happening here. So he goes up to see Dedra, and oh boy, he is pissed. Literally starts choking her in a very uncomfortable scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he wants to know what's going on. And when she finally comes clean, he all but tells her to fuck off and, heads out. She does tell him, I like that. She's like, this is all going to work out great for us.
What did you think about this scene? Because I saw a lot of people on Twitter having to say about this, and I think I don't even understand where the fuck they were coming from.
Okay. What do you mean?
Did you see any of this? Like, they just turned it, and like there was one person that was tweeting about how like this was a prime example of male toxicity.
Oh.
There was someone else that was saying, all of this is because of man and what man does when man has, and I was like, this was it had nothing to do with gender. Even him choking her, it wasn't because she was a woman. It was because of what she fucking represented to him.
Yeah. I didn't take it that way.
Yeah.
But I am a toxic male, so it's hard for me to identify.
You're not if you can see it in yourself.
I'm working on it day to day, Jay. Yeah, I think he's just losing his shit. And he just like, and the person that he was kind of trusting to be his partner he realizes she sold him a fucking bill of goods.
Right. He even says, how long did you know? Like he's putting all this together, and he's like, I've been a pawn in her game that she's been a part of for the Empire. Like, this is, he is not having any of this. I really thought he was going to throw her over the balcony, and I think he should have.
Well, and it's not to defend her, but obviously this whole thing she has not been comfortable with the entire time. She's still going on along with it, so she's still at fault. But clearly, she does not like any of this business. She hasn't liked it from the start.
Well, this sort of shows, like, even you look back at World War II, and when they try to, who was a real Nazi and who wasn't, or who was doing it because they were part of the armed forces for their country. Like, what is that? Like, where do you draw the line? Although she's pretty fucking sadistic.
She knows what's going on, though. That's the thing.
Right.
Like, it's not like hey, we're in a battle and I was told to fight these people because they're our enemy, whatever. This is like a full-on, I know exactly what we're trying to do here.
Right. Like, more so the guy that takes his troopers in there that doesn't want to.
Right.
Like, that's the guy that's like, because he's threatened. He's like, you go do this, or you and your whole fucking crew are going to be what?
Correct.
You know? Yeah.
But she knows the whole score. So she, as reluctant as she is, and I'll give her partial credit for that, only partial, she is 100% complicit in everything that happens. So he storms out of there, like, fuck you, I'm out of here. And then she even tries to like get him back, but he's already left the building. So then Cassian spots her on the balcony, and he realizes, they're closing the plaza here, and they're bringing these stormtroopers to block the exits. That was kind of a crazy moment when they're like, okay, close the exits, and all those fuckers start walking in and boxing everybody in. It's like, oh boy. So then the crowd starts singing their national anthem song in unison, which was this touching moment of solidarity. I can't remember who they said. Maybe it was the guy who was doing the music for this, who wrote that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. I thought it was well done. How again, Lazine's got a lot of Ghor pride. He starts that song and gets everybody going on it. So he's like, I'm tired of this chant. Let's sing.
Right.
We've chanted long enough. Captain Kaido sends the very young, inexperienced, and expendable group of troops out there to clear a path to Memorial, which is just a ploy to agitate the crowd. He doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the protesters start kind of pushing on the soldiers a little bit. Then the order is given by Partagaz and relayed through Dedra, again, reluctantly, but relayed to proceed. And that means that a sniper on the fucking roof is going to open fire. And I thought at first, okay, he's going to open fire and start shooting Ghorman people.
Oh, no, I knew right away, yeah.
Shoots an Imperial. So then they respond and start shooting the Ghorman people, the protesters, and all fucking hell breaks loose.
Yep.
And all the while, Captain Kaido, big fucking grin on his face. Sadistic.
Well, not even big, just enough to fucking see it. That sick. Like,
yeah, those initial shots when they're shooting the Ghorman people were pretty brutal and shocking. Yeah, like, oh fuck. So then Dedra goes outside again to see if she can spot Syril. I love how they're like, ma'am, it's not safe to go out there. Literally
what a
shooting
fucking
everybody.
tease it was as like an audience member. It's just like, here it is. Oh, she's gonna fucking die, and then she goes back inside again. I'm like, come on, take the shot, Andor.
Yeah, Andor sees her and again can't get the shot off. Then they release the KX droids. And these things, like fucking T-100 Terminators, just start kicking ass. So you didn't play the new, that Jedi Fallen Order game?
No.
Because you fight those things in that game,
really?
And they are a pain in the ass to fight.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very tough. So yeah, they're just laying waste. One of them chucks Enza halfway across the plaza and kills her. That was tough to watch. Just when Andor gets back into a place where he can take the shot on Dedra, he does hesitate a little, but it looks like he's going to take the shot. And that's when First, it's when the bellboy chucks the bomb and blows up the troopers, and that throws him off again. Every time he tries to take the shot, he keeps getting thrown off. And that's when you see Syril, can't even say his name now. He's all shook. Like the scenes with him walking through that crowd and people getting blasted around him. I thought that was really cool how they did that. It was kind of slow motion and just focusing on him with all the blur of all the mayhem in the background.
Just taking everything in, the chaos, the man, like what's he responsible for? Like whose side is he on? Yeah, it was intense. Yeah,
and so he sees Cassian finally. And just as Cassian's lining up a shot again, he jumps him. Now, he's saving his girlfriend here, but I don't think he knows that. I think he just sees Cassian and jumps him.
I don't think so either.
And they have this fight. Give Syril credit. He whoops Andor's ass a bit. Like he does. All the rage is there. He's fighting the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps happening, and he's beating him up. And the next thing you know, Cassian sort of gets away from him, but then he picks up his gun and is about to shoot him.
Right.
And in the most heartbreaking moment, if you're a Syril fan, Andor says, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I've spent the last 3 years of my life fucking fixated on this man. He doesn't even know who the fuck I am. What have I been doing?" And
why would he? But like he's been so, you're right. Like the fixation on his side is like, this man knows I'm coming for him.
Yeah. It was like this culmination of, I've got him. I finally got him. He's going to know that I'm the one who got him and I'm going to kill him in the end. He doesn't even know who the fuck I am. Mm-hmm. So bit heartbreaking for him. He starts to lower his weapon, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not going to shoot him, or he's just thinking about it and then takes a shot to the dome from Rylands.
Man, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I kind of was wincing, like kind of waiting. I was like, it's coming. He's going to get killed.
Yeah.
I guess I think just that realization hits him of, what am I even doing? Because I've dedicated my life to killing this man and he doesn't even know who the fuck I am. I think it might be that's kind of the nail in the coffin of his dedication to the Empire right there.
Right.
So then Wilmon and Cassian get away. They start heading out to the streets, out beyond the plaza.
Phase 2.
Phase 2, yeah. He's dead set, Wilmon, on getting back to Drina, his gal in the front. Just then, they're nearly killed by a KX droid.
Mm-hmm.
But looky who has a moment. Sam.
Yeah.
Sam pulls up and fucking smashes him in two with the tank. Way to go, Sam. Congratulations. So Wilmon goes with Sam to the front headquarters to look for Drina, and Cassian has to tell him goodbye. Now, did you think at that point that was their last goodbye and Wilmon was going to die?
Yes.
I did too. I thought he wasn't going to make it off Ghorman. Cassian takes the KX droid, carcass, and heads out. And then it turns out Drina is the voice of Ghorman that we hear talking, that we heard in the trailers.
Yep.
What a fucking great little bit that was. Like, that was very, very emotional. You see all this state-run media shit continue to push the message out that Ghorman's at fault and all these outside agitators and stuff. But this is really, I thought it was a really powerful.
Listen to a podcaster. They're the voice of truth.
See? Exactly.
Yeah.
Drina's like, this desperate plea for your help while we're being murdered is brought to you by Stamps.com.
Don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. With all the Ghormans displaced recently, we're going to need your help with Casper Mattress.
They're going to need me robies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But watching Cassian drive away in the tank, like tears in his eyes with her voice explaining what was going on, was a very powerful moment. I just thought that episode was so fucking well done.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top
it was
10,
amazing.
Probably top 10 episodes of TV ever.
I would put it up there. And the next episode, there's no slouch. It's just, I think 8 was great, but 9 was great as well. So time for your gal to shine.
Mm-hmm.
So episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion. We open on Coruscant, where Senator Oren Ghorman, is arrested by stormtroopers. There's fucking stormtroopers in the Senate.
Yep.
People are pissed off because he's speaking out about the Ghorman Massacre, and they're like, take him away. So Bail tells Mon, you need to get that speech ready, but then you need to get prepared to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Because that's not going to go over well. He's like, they need you on Yavin. I need to stay and buy you guys time.
Right.
Which is a little bit out of canon with what we eventually see later in Rebels. He's like, actually, I think on Yavin when she delivers that speech, but it's a minor detail.
Well, that's the next speech, though, right?
The next one, but that's
he can come and go. I'm sure he visits Yavin, but he's just not living there yet.
Yeah, it could be. You could be right. She's working on that speech that she's going to give at the Senate, and Erskine discovers a bug in her office, and she fucking smashes that thing. Heads to the plaza to practice, where people won't be listening. Did you notice, by the way, the guy at ISB who was listening to her bug that noticed that it went down is the same guy that Dedra dressed down in season 1 when she came to him to like get all the flight info.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember when she goes in that room and the guy's like straightening up?
Yes.
And, like has his thing unzipped.
He keeps calling her sir.
Keeps calling her sir, yeah. That's the same guy.
Okay.
It took me a second, but I realized it after a minute. So Luthen tells her on the plaza, or excuse me, on that little opening there, they're sending someone. I'm going to send someone to get you to help get you out of here because Bail's group has been infiltrated or corrupted, he said. So you're going to get arrested if you go with them. And then he also informs her that Erskine has been working for him the whole time. Now, do you think he needed to say that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, unless he was trying to prove, like, I've got your best interests at heart. Like, this, you don't know what we've done for you. He even says you don't know what he's done for you. Right. Like, you have to trust me. He was kind of running out of reason, like, she wasn't going to listen to him. Yeah,
I think he's doing everything he can to sell her on everything and how much he has her back. You're right. I think it's about that.
This goes to show, like, Luthen is starting to lose his grip on things.
Totally. And I think the unexpected consequence of that is now she feels even less trusting of him or anyone.
Well, yeah, because what she says, I'm more afraid of you than I am of anyone right now.
Yes, that's a tough line to hear.
Right.
But apparently Erskine, that conversation that Luthen had with him at the wedding is when he started working for him. That was the moment where he started working for him. Mon goes back and confronts him and is like, "You fired." So he has to leave. I like how he's like, "It's been the honor of my life," and he walks out. So then we go to Clea. She's using her 3D printer to make an ID for Cassian so he can get into the Senate as a member of the media and help Mon get the fuck out of there. And he tells Clea that he's like, "Hey, after this mission, I'm done." She's like, "Okay, guy."
Right.
I bet you are.
Mm-hmm. What, are you tired? Oh, we're all tired.
And I think she's also probably like, what are you going to do next? Like, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And it's interesting bit that happens too a little bit after this is where Cassian's talking to Luthen, and he tells him, like, you need to get out of here. Like, you need to get off Coruscant, dude. You're going to get arrested or caught or killed or whatever. And he says, there's no Yavin for me. Like, I need to do all my shit here. Luthen knows this is his last stand, I think, and that he's not going to make it to Yavin to be part of that rebellion. And despite his misgivings about the setup for this plan, Luthen, Cassian's still in because they can't afford to let Mon get arrested. So he's like, we got to do it.
Yeah.
So the speech, Mon is preparing her speech, and we see Bail's team is in place and ready to act. I guess that shot in the trailer of that gal pulling out the gun, we thought that was some sort of rebellion thing.
Right.
That's actually ISB.
Yep.
And I love how Bail tells Mon to tear the shit out of this place.
I know.
I thought Benjamin Bratt did a great job.
He did a great job. Do you think she was going to arrest Mon, or was she going to assassinate her?
I thought she was going to arrest her, but you could be right. I'm just thinking for optics, they probably would just arrest her.
True.
I mean, there could be an accidental death. Oops, she fell out of the car. I don't know. But we learn that the reason Bail's team is corrupted is because it's got this ISB agent, and the ISB guy inside the little control room says, one of Jung's agents has contacted us. And I'm going, as in Lonni? And for a second I thought, did Lonni double cross them, that motherfucker? And then I realized, no, he informed Luthen about the corrupted agent.
Right.
So he's going along with the plan, but he's telling Luthen, don't fucking let him go with that. So once again, Lonni, way to go, bud.
Play your part.
I mean, you're going to probably die or get put in jail here in this next arc, but you've done a lot for the cause. Erskine gets Cassian up to the elevators into the Senate chambers area, or just outside those gates, those doors. And Bail Organa comes out and he invokes a Senate rule, I don't remember the number, that allows him to yield time to Mon Mothma so she can give her speech.
Right.
And the ISB is trying desperately to shut this shit down, and they can't. And they don't get it shut down until after she's done. After she drops the Palp bomb. But what a whopper of a speech. Your gal knocks it out of the park. I mean, she lays it all out there and puts all the blame at the feet of Palpatine. Your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, genocide.
She threw it out there.
Yeah.
She said it.
She's like, tell me I'm wrong, bros.
Well, she said it, and then she goes, yeah, I said genocide. She literally... Great speech. And it's just so in line with the rest of this series. There's just, everybody gets their
also another thing that like echoes today's.
Oh, absolutely.
Like what a like everything written by Gilroy or his team. Like it's pretty outstanding. And
it was written 2 years ago.
Right.
So Cassian, and so she delivers this speech, great speech. She walks out of that room and sees Cassian. He meets her. And of course, at first she's like, I'm not talking to the media, dude. Mm-hmm. No comment.
Who let you up here?
Yeah. He convinces her to go with him. And then they're making their way out. Well, first, when Lonnie's agent comes up from the ISB to take her, that's when Erskine steps in and is like, what do you call it? He's like rebel spy or something like that.
Yeah.
He points to her.
Right.
And calls her a rebel spy to kind of throw it off, and just enough time for Cassian to drop her. And then Mon's like, holy shit.
Right.
I don't think she's seen a lot of that kind of violence up front.
No, like everything keeps like coming closer and closer into her view.
Because when he drops Cloris later, she's like, Jesus, dude.
Right. Well, I like the elevator ride where he's trying to win her over. He's like, look, I know Luthen can be pretty difficult.
Yeah. and he's also like, I know your cousin. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you know my cousin. He's like, dude, we were on Aldhani together.
Right.
So then, so Cassian drops the agent, and then Mon puts on Cassian's jacket. They're going to go down to the loading dock. That's where they're supposed to go. That's where Luthen and Clay are.
Right.
But that place is a hot mess because there's troopers everywhere. That is also the moment where Mon says, what does she say? Like, I can't do this or something, or I'm not sure I can do this. And he goes, welcome to the rebellion.
Right.
Cloris comes up to find Mon. And I love how Cassie's like, are you Cloris? Yeah? Cool. Just want to confirm before I kill you.
Yes.
Didn't want to get the wrong guy. So then he drives her out of there. She takes that, you see that subtle little look she takes back at the Senate, like, never coming back here again.
Well, she was also in the back seat holding on to every fucking
life?
Yeah.
I didn't get my seatbelt buckled, man.
I didn't know this fucking thing could do this.
You also get a shot of Bail kind of sitting there with his thoughts and the aftermath, like the die is cast. This shit is in motion.
Yeah,
it's out in the public now. Here we go. He's also probably thinking about that time, like in Revenge of the Sith, where he had to fucking dive into his car and get out of there. He's thinking, am I going to have to do that again?
No shit. I forgot about that.
Well, and he's also, I mean, keep in mind, his daughter has been involved with the Ghost Crew already. Like, his daughter's doing shit on the sly. So, and all the while, by the way, I'm very worried about Erskine. I'm thinking, wait a minute, Tony, you're not going to break canon here because he gets Mon to the Ghost Crew.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't kill him. Because I was real worried Erskine wasn't going to make it out. Whenever somebody says, you go, I'll stay back and hold them off, like you go, they're always going to die. But he made it.
He made it. So
back on Yavin, we see the new recruits being brought in, and we get this moment where Vel's looking through the weapons. She's like, she sees the gun that started it all, the gun that killed those two guys on Morlana. And she's like, whose is this? And then Malshi raises his hand. He's like, I think that's mine. So we get to see Malshi, which is good. Haven't seen him since Niamos, since he split up with Cassian.
Yeah, we haven't seen him this season.
Then we go back to the safe house. Now, Cassian's getting Mon to the safe house, and when he's first doing it, I didn't realize that's exactly where they were going. For a second, where you think the door was going to open and fucking like Hera was going to be there, like this was the moment they were getting to the Ghost Crew.
Oh.
There was a moment where I thought, are they really going to do this? But it was just to get into the safe house.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they treated it the way they did, which is what we thought. They reference it. You know exactly who it's going to, you know who's involved.
Right.
We know the story, but they don't need to show it. Erskine is there, thank God, with Clea. And look who made it out of Ghorman, Wilmon and Drina.
It looks like his foot or his leg has seen better days, but
it has. He's pretty badly hurt. So the new plan is, Cassian, you got to get Wilmon to a doctor on Yavin, and we're going to get Mon to this other ship because she needs to make this bigger.
I like how they're like, you don't get to take credit for any of this. The gold standard team is going to.
We'll take it from here.
Right. Yeah.
And this is going to be that Dantooine dress she does that we see in Rebels. And yeah, you're right. Gold Squadron is taking over with Erskine's help. I like that little exchange too that we got with Mon and Cassian, where he tells her like, make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the Tom Hanks line in Saving Private Ryan. Earn this. So Cassian comes home to Bix. Oh boy. He doesn't say I nearly died 14 times. But he does say that he's done with all these missions. He's like, I just want to be with you. Let's go. Yep. This is almost the exact same conversation he has with Marva in season 1, where he's like, I got money. Let's get out of here. There's a quiet place we can find and just live our lives.
And again, he falls for the let me sleep on it thing.
Right. She gives him the same fucking response.
It's like, duped again.
Always make the decision and take the action the night of.
Right.
So yeah, she just listens and nods. And then when he wakes up alone, I'm like, oh no, she didn't. She has made the sacrifice of her own happiness for the rebellion by leaving Cassian.
Fucking video Dear John letter.
I know. And again, I said it earlier. Everybody gets their big speech or moment in this movie, in this show, in this series. And she gets it here. Hers is obviously a little different tone. When she like starts talking about how, I'll see you down the road. Oh, honey, you're not going to see him down the road.
Are we going to see her down the road, do you think?
I don't think so.
You think that was it for her?
I think so. I mean, two things. One is when you see this exchange, which was very sad to watch, it makes you think these are the kinds of things that are going to play out in Rogue One where you're going to see it differently. Where he's hugging Jyn at the end of Rogue One and it's kind of looking off. He's probably thinking about Bix and how he fucking never got back to his wife.
I mean, this whole arc is like what we've been reading about, where Gilroy and everyone's like, all these things that happen in this are going to make you watch the movie differently. It was like so many elements in this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and just for her to go through all the stuff she's gone through, all the trauma she's gone through, finally get to essentially a happy place, if you can call it that, with this, the rebellion's kind of a tough place to find a happy place, and now she has to sacrifice it for the cause. She has to leave so that he won't.
Right.
You think there was a part of him that's like, fine, I'll stay. You can still stay though, right?
Yeah. You're just kidding. You're in the closet, right? Where you at? We're playing games.
Yeah. We had talked going into the season, will Bix survive? It appears she's going to survive.
Yep.
Maybe we get the post-credit scene with her going and picking up B2 Emo from from Mina Rao.
There we go. Yeah.
Somebody's got to find him. Somebody's going to be like,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of daring, but I suppose if the Empire's got bigger things to do than sit around there for 3 years for her to come back and grab the robot, right?
Well, the other thing I thought is maybe she grabs B2 and she takes him back to Ferrix, starts rebuilding that town and that community on Ferrix.
That could
goes
be.
back home.
Yeah, because I was like, where is she going to go? But I mean, she's wanted, so I don't see her going to Ferrix.
I guess not. I was just thinking if you saw her going back to Ferrix, if the Empire's kind of abandoned it now,
yeah,
if she goes back to try to build it back up again, you're going to get this like tearful moment where she's putting like Brasso's stone in the fucking wall and shit and all that. Like you could go that route.
There we go. And then she goes up to the tower and she starts being the gong person.
She takes all the jobs.
Yeah. She just can't run without me.
Or worse, what if like it's an end credit scene and it's her and B2 showing up on Yavin after the Death Star battle looking for Cassian and he's not fucking there.
I was gonna say she shows up with Saw.
Do you know how heartbreaking that's gonna be though? She shows up on Yavin like post and there's like, where's Cassian?
Yeah. No one gets out alive, man.
I saw some people speculating. They're like, is she pregnant? Do you think she's pregnant?
I was getting that vibe too.
Yeah, maybe. Got to raise that baby somewhere else. Anyway, the last thing you see, I thought it was an interesting transition because you go from this very heartfelt, deep, heavy, emotional moment to, by the way, we got that K2 droid ready.
Yeah, it seemed a little rushed.
It was a little rushed.
Like,
I get what they were doing.
Yeah, because we're going to open up the next arc with that, so let's have it ready. But
also, I think it was like that part of your life has been detached back to the fucking cause. Like you got and also K2 steps into his life when she steps out.
Yeah, one fucking sidekick for another. Yeah, but I don't like the way that it just has a personality because it's sort of on the glitch.
Well,
I didn't drop the ball. This is where the writer's room needs to listen to us.
Got a lot of great ideas. Back to Stories Volume 4.
Fucking use one of them.
Yeah, this is where I had the note about the post-credit scene of Perrin sitting on the shitter reading the news about Mon's speech. It would be so great. Spills his coffee. Fuck! So what's next? How's Luthen going to die? Because there is a shot that was, I think, maybe an Entertainment Weekly photo or something that they showed where it's Dedra with a weapon drawn in the gallery.
In what gallery?
His.
Oh, on Coruscant?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay. So she finds access.
So she maybe finds him. Is she going to kill him? What's going to happen there? I'm trying to figure out, are they both going to kill each other? I don't know if Dedra survives.
I think Clea will be there, not Luthen.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
And Clea has to talk her way out of it? Because we see that scene later that we haven't got to where Clea's very upset talking about how they're building the Death Star. They're building a weapon, she's saying, and she's like screaming at Cassian. We all thought that was kind of in the aftermath of Luthen's death.
That's true. But they don't know about the Death Star, right? Because
she just knows it's a weapon.
Right, because they find that out in Rogue One. That's the whole point.
Correct. So I don't know. I'm wondering how they're going to kill him off. Because he can't survive.
No, I don't think so.
They do some spin-off. It's him and Bix on Ferrix, just living low.
What's the big reveal of him though? What we find because we know we get a backstory on him, right? So what is
that?
He
dies and it's a Force ghost.
That's it, right? Okay,
that's what I said for you.
He's Kenobi's brother.
I do not think he is a Jedi of any sort.
Yeah, I don't either because I think.
Oh, but you're right.
I mean, I would love for it to be. What's that?
You're right though. Episode 10 is the one where we're supposed to get the backstory, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I don't know, man. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And do you think it's in the aftermath? Do you think he's killed and then we look back on him?
I don't know. That's what we talked about last time. I think that would be a convenient way to do the story. Or you're seeing everything that he's leading up to is also telling the story of how it led to him becoming that person in the first place, Yeah. But, I mean, Ghor has gone so far to not include Jedi or any of that stuff into this. So, I can't see, as fun as the big reveal would be, then be oh, yeah, the whole time a Jedi was the one that was running this whole thing. Right. Then you're giving them all the strength again. So I don't see him doing that. But I would love for that character to have something like that. But I feel like there's some kind of relation. There's something to another character that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, that is a Star Wars trope.
Yeah,
people are always related to somebody you didn't know, or somebody, so there's some tie-in where you're like, how big exactly is this galaxy? Because too many people are related.
And does fucking Luthen go full Yoda? And not as a Jedi, but as in knowing that Deirdre is the sister to Cassian?
0 chance that's true. Zero.
She was raised in an orphanage.
Not a chance.
Okay.
Well, there's some what do you want to call it? Makeup involved on how those two do not align as a brother and sister.
Right. Well, hey, look, she dyes her hair.
I saw somebody say that. Look at the black roots.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if there's anything else. I looked through a couple of the trailers just to see like what have we not seen. There's the scene with Saw that we're gonna, that's the Rogue One looking scene where he's at that hideout on Jeddah. We're gonna see that at the end.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Saw we'll get in this last arc.
I think we're gonna get a lot.
We should, because there's a lot to be done with him.
Yep.
And then there's that shot of those stormtroopers without their lids on, like almost looks like maybe they're making their way toward the safe house. Maybe they're coming after Cassian.
Yeah.
It kind of look like that.
Yeah, you're right. There's that. There's Deirdre watching it through like the glass again. And doesn't she like pull on her collar again? Yeah. There's we've got to get, we know Saw doesn't die, but we got to get some kind of ending to that part of the story, right?
How does he end up on Jeddah?
Right. Yeah. Luthens, Clea, Vel.
You think Clea's at this point? You think Clea's gonna die?
I don't. Not unless Deirdre kills her looking for Luthen.
Yeah.
I don't see Luthen taking a fucking laser bolt as his death from Deirdre.
I agree. I don't think she gets that satisfaction.
Yeah. And I'm wondering how she's going to die. I like it. She gets a promotion. She ends up on, she's like, you're headed to the Death Star.
Right. I saw somebody say that they wanted almost like the Robert Pattinson shot where he's in the window.
It's fucking full of glitter.
And they pull out and it's the fucking World Trade Center.
Oh,
I can't remember what movie that's from.
Yeah.
But you realize he's about to die.
Yeah, the whole movie takes place before 9/11, and doesn't he like go to his dad's? Was it Pierce Brosnan?
I don't know. I only have seen that scene.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
So somebody was saying like they're going to be a shot of her in the window from
like
the Death Star.
The camera pans out of her at the Death Star. Fuck yes.
I could see her holding Luthen hostage at the gallery and Clea fucking dropping Dedra. I could see that happening, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
I just hope the ship makes it out. Like who's the ship get gifted to?
Good point. Who gets the Fondor? Clea deserves it, but I don't know who else would get it. I mean, it would be a great ship for Cassian, but he's already got that U-wing.
And he's going to die. Right. Yeah. So
maybe Bix gets it.
Do we see the destruction or the end result, if you will, of the planet
of Ghorman?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't know that you need to show that. I think you told
or maybe we'll
story.
Hear about it, right? Because we're jumping a year. Like, what are the end events? Like, there's a lot they need to wrap up and also stage things for the movie. So it'll be interesting to how they jump into this next 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think the Ghorman story has been told and served its purpose from a narrative perspective. So I don't think you're going to see any Ghorman action anymore.
Fuck me.
Uh-oh.
That whole scene in Andor, what episode when he's sitting there talking to Clea and he pulls the knife out of the thing?
Yes.
Wasn't that was a toy release? Like they showed that was Luthen's cane or something, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if that plays part in when she shows up.
Well, no, he was doing that in this episode though.
Right. So I'm wondering if like they were foreshadowing, look at what this does.
Oh, yeah.
So the next episode when she shows up, we know that knife is in there and is going to shank her.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Why would you show that knife and never use it?
Yeah.
What's Luthen's line? What weapon's ever been made and not used, or what is it?
Yeah, something to that effect.
No weapon's ever been created that hasn't been used. Your thought was that he was going to get murdered with that thing he was showing Mon in season 1 or earlier this season or whenever it was. Season 1.
What was that?
It was like a fucking club that had.
That's right.
He thought he was going to get his brains bashed in with it or something. Is the way he dies.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the last arc. I'm sad that it's going to end, but there's a part of you that has to be like, if you're going to fucking knock it out of the park for 2 seasons and just be like, and we're done, you've told a complete awesome story.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't need to drag it out. Maybe making it 5 seasons would have taken some of the shine off,
steam out of it. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded maybe a 3rd season, but
no, like how incredible it is. You're right. Like but leave the people wanting more at the end, right?
Yeah.
So, But to go back real quick,
Hmm?
Luthen says he's not leaving. Like he was staying on Coruscant, so maybe she shows up and he is there.
He very well could. I assume that she has pulled her weapon on him.
Mm-hmm. So do you think...
I don't know what happens in the aftermath of that.
Maybe some of the backstory also shows how he and Clea got together.
I bet it will.
Right.
I would imagine they'll give us some of that backstory.
You think it's just steamy? You know what? One of his sons probably plays him.
Oh, God, that would be kind of cool.
Right?
I mean, the one is quite the strapping lad and pretty tall. What's his name? I forget all this. Not Peter.
Not name.
Different
He's
guy.
Justin. He's playing the robot in the Apple show.
He was the guy in Big Little Lies and shit, right? He was the fucking abuser in Big Little Lies.
I didn't watch Big Little Lies.
Oh.
He was the wasn't he like the sexy vampire?
Maybe.
Was he in that show? What was that show I couldn't watch because I thought it was terrible. The HBO show where it took place in the South.
I don't know.
It was just like vampire fucking each other.
I don't know.
What was the name of that show?
This is good podcasting.
Really. Well, hey, this gives people like, we know what it is. They're going to write us.
I just like the setup. Yeah. What's that show I couldn't watch because I fucking hated it? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm not in your brain.
This is reminding me of 7 Days a Geek, right? The whole internet at my fingertips, and I'm not going to look it up.
Anyway, that guy. It would be cool to do that. That would be a nice way to do it. Anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, laugh it up, buzzballs.
Have spoken.